Hey traders, checking out of the stock market today. So the end of the year rally continues with bulls keeping complete control. The S&P 500 hitting a new all-time high. The Nasdaq with a key resistance break. A little bit of weakness in just a few places, certainly not many. And we'll check it out. Before we get to the charts, we are doing our end of the year course sale. So any of our 2 courses for $180 combined. And you don't need a special code or anything. We just set things up so that is the way it is at checkout. And you can click the link in the pinned comments of this YouTube video to take you to that page. So Mr. V-Shape's back with blue sky breakout SPY right back up to all-time highs. Fear quickly alleviated the last 4 days. Look at the closes, the momentum. Up at the high of the day, 4 out of the last 5 days in a row. And when we do see daily consolidation from here, bulls will be watching first hourly oversold conditions as a back burner trade, scouting that daily high or low. So SPY bulls back in complete control, all-time highs. There was a resistance level we could draw here, but it looks like we broke it. No, not relevant. We're sticking with the daily high or lows and the uptrend. Nasdaq, we knew our resistance zone was going to be key this week, and the most notable thing for me today is that we blew right through it. So QQQ now has the all-time high back on the menu. It's still over 1% away, but even if we reject this time around, again, tons of space for a daily higher low to form next consolidation. Bulls watching for hourly oversold conditions once that daily consolidation shapes up. Hourly uptrends are our guides, and if they keep holding strong, we're not going to consolidate. I'm watching the futures 4-hour higher lows as my guide. So knowing any consolidation we see overnight, we're looking for a little higher low. We've just set these little support levels on the way up, and I am using that as my guide for complete bull control. And they certainly still have it at this point. Semiconductors benefiting from QQQ strength. Right off weekly EMA 12. Never saw any real major red flags in this sector when there was fear in other sectors. And here we are testing the all-time high. 318.82. And if you adjust it for dividends, we're even closer. 317.12. And again, tons of space for the daily high or low. Any name that looks like this, we're going to be watching hourly oversold conditions for a bull entry opportunity the next time they come around. Tesla, for the first time, nice green day, but for the first time since Elon Musk potentially is done selling, I don't know if that's official, I don't think it's ever official, but so he says, then this is the first time we've seen a bearish correlation. It stood out with a bullish correlation for a significant amount of time, every day. But today into the close stood out to me. If you look at the 15-minute time frame, Tesla topped out at the high of the day at noon, and the weakness really started the last hour. But you look at QQQ the last hour, a little bit of pullback, new high, and SPY, same thing. So we can say that Tesla, in the last hour of trading, had a bearish correlation with the broader market. That in itself doesn't mean a whole lot, but it tells us keep an eye out for that. And if we look on the hourly time frame, it would be the kind of scenario where do we have enough pullback to see an hourly lower high form next time we bounce. So the high of today, tomorrow will be key. It obviously depends on where we open. If we open a bit lower, that even increases the odds for an hourly lower high next bounce. If we open higher, then we're going to be right there. But just a little tiny initial observation, and we'll see if anything comes of that tomorrow. Healthcare sector has been the lead bull out of our major sectors this whole time. Pretty much the last 3 weeks, and daily higher low set, hourly oversold, EMA 12 support. Actually don't think we got to hourly oversold. I think the RSI got low 30s, mid 30s. Not significant. But a daily higher low is set and a new all-time high here. And again, we've been hitting all-time highs in this sector for essentially 4 out of the last 8 days. And as long as 135.38 is support, the bulls keep their complete control. So again, just like that, all of our major sectors were strong today. XLF was weak in the first half hour, but it quickly recovered. We'll look at that in just a second. But we are seeing fear significantly alleviated. We would need new fear, new news, new something. And volume we have to keep an eye on because it's still low. But again, that's the holiday. I'm very surprised that today, the first day back, the full week this week, we have the same volume as Thursday before the holiday. Across the board, SPY, IWM, QQQ, same volume. So again, we're just keeping that in mind, and that's that tells me a lot of traders are probably doing what I'm doing as far as just cruise control, coasting into the end of the year, not really going to do a whole lot this week. And some people probably still taking a break. XLF, so the weakness that we saw first thing, we started strong. We then dumped and broke the low of Thursday. So that was a chance for the bears to prove something, but then we V-shaped right back to the high of the day, and then we just kept setting 5-minute higher lows from there. So good save by the bulls. A bit disappointed because I did make some bearish entries on Thursday, and one of them was a top fish in XLF, and I was positioned real well in this trade. And it was just the kind of thing, recognizing way overextended 5, 15-minute, 2-minute RSI levels to start Thursday. So I shorted it, sold half on the initial pullback, risk-free stop above the high of the day. We closed weak on Thursday. So I was really liking that bearish position, and then stopped out at the end of the day, pretty much break even. And again, that's the mindset that I have and how I am trading until we see broader market consolidation. Until SPY, QQQ, IWM pull back for a daily higher low, I am a very picky bull because I've got my swing bull exposure, mostly in crypto, but SPY long-term no touch, some MSOS. And for me, any bull positions that I add from there has me going real aggressive bullish, which would have been nice to do 4 days ago, but I am comfortably bullish and I'm scouting short-term bearish entries. And again, for me, that means not a whole lot of profit the last 2 days, which is fine. Not a whole lot of new profit. Again, my positions keep going up. The crypto gains have been real nice over the last 5 days, but not making day trading profit much the last 2 days. IWM, keeping its bounce going. 226.54, 226.75, a little double top that's very key. And again, if you align that in timing, that's with the NASDAQ when we had all those tops. So the NASDAQ already broke those levels. Now it's IWM's chance to try. If we fail, we scout the daily higher low. We scout hourly oversold conditions. And again, a name like this, we're a lot more picky because we're coming off of a low after very significant consolidation. You know, you look at SPY, we haven't changed. We haven't set a higher low and a higher high on SPY, but we're up at all-time highs. Actually, we did, if you're looking at the 2-day time frame. But on other names that have not confirmed a trend change yet, it's a lot different because IWM is coming off the low. So there's a lot more proving for the IWM bulls to do. And even then, we will just be watching for a weekly lower high, anything under 240, 446. But they're keeping that bounce going. They're keeping the hourly uptrend strong. And it was very noticeable today where some of our growth sectors were seeing weakness. So who were the red sectors today? I'll tell you. It was Canadian MJ was red. US MJ was red. Solar was red. ARC was red. So growth-related sectors were red today, but IWM saw zero weakness. So that tells me IWM was benefiting from healthcare exposure, financial sector exposure, but not necessarily the growth names. Hourly uptrends are our guides. When we lose the hourly uptrends, we zoom out, we scout daily higher lows with lots of space for them, and we scout hourly oversold conditions. Biotech sector was red. There's another one that's related to growth names to a certain degree, and it was easily the weakest sector. And I did attempt a bounce on XBI because these morning oversold bounces have worked really well over the last week. Look at the drop in the morning, bulls all day. Drop in the morning, solid bounce, bulls the majority of the day. Drop in the morning to the bulls, drop in the morning to the bulls, drop in the morning to the bears. It shifted. So I tried to play a bottom fish off of 115.64. On the break of 116, I looked to make an entry. By the time I got filled, it was the low 116s. My game plan from there was exit half on a short-term 2-minute bounce. And as I was live streaming, I was saying, I want to exit half at 116.50. And so I'm sitting there, finger on the sell trigger, waiting for 116.50 so I can sell my LABU. And we get to 116.48, and then we start to pull back. It's like, did I just miss it? Was that it? And by the time we pulled back towards the low of the day, I said, yep, I think that was my sell that I just missed. If I had sold there, I'd be risk-free. But because I couldn't, I sold a third of my position at break even, and then by the time I stopped out on the new low of the day, or I should say on the break of Thursday's low breaking, I ended up with a half-day loser. So just missed. That's the way she goes. But in the end, bears kept control for the majority of the day of this sector, and it's notable that it was one of the weakest sectors. So support from here on XBI is 113.94, positioned well for bears if there's any broader market consolidation from here. And after last week, I was pretty in the zone and in flow state and doing real well day trading. I can't remember any real loss that I took last week. Probably had a bunch of, tiny losses, break-even stop-outs. But today, I started today with that half-day loser, and then I made a BABA attempt for a 15-minute higher low here. And that ended up being a bear flag. So I took another 30-40% day loser there. And at that point, I am pretty much a day loser. So it's been a while since I've had a day loser from day trades. So that for me is just confirmation, coast into the finish line. 4 more trading days into the year, start next year with a fresh, clean slate, and wait for the setups that I'm comfortable with. Again, the only setups that I'm comfortable with right now are trying to find low risk, top fishing, or bearish entries for daily consolidation, or names that have a lot of space looking for an hourly higher low and are oversold on short-term timeframes. And XBI fit that criteria because the 15-minute RSI was oversold, the 5-minute RSI was in the teens, and we were technically still looking for an hourly higher low, anything above 115.64, which is why I was bottom fishing that level. So it did meet my criteria of looking for a bullish entry, but didn't work out. I will be a lot more comfortable looking bullish next hourly oversold bounces, next daily consolidation, knowing we're scouting those daily higher lows. That's just the way that the market goes in terms of fear to FOMO and not giving the bulls much of a chance once the buy switch was turned on a few days ago. And again, remember, it was the bear exhaustion on IWM that for me was the biggest clue to be looking bullish. Wasn't going to go real aggressive on it, but just enough to get some exposure. And again, that IWM bounce helped me go more aggressive in the crypto space. It's all related. Natural gas tightening up on the daily, trying to make a bull break here. Triple bottom at 359. Big picture, we're scouting a monthly higher low. Look at Bitcoin 6 months ago. Look at NIO 6 months ago. This is the same growth breakout and big pullback trying to hold monthly EMA 12. So again, how I'm comparing this to these other setups, big breakout, big pullback, monthly EMA 12. And NIO did it to a certain degree, monthly EMA 12. So can Nat Gas do it as well? Breaking this daily range is a start. Now we zoom out, we scout a weekly lower high to be the result of this bounce, but bulls need to keep a 4-hour uptrend going here. We don't have a lot of follow through at this point. One more 4-hour higher low and higher high will give us that follow through. Look at the volatility. This is over a 10% move in just a handful of hours. So there is definitely notable volatility. But again, we're scouting a monthly higher low and watching to see if it can shape up. So BABA, I am still keeping an eye on BABA because of the daily EMA 12 just being a very clear resistance guide, but also the fact that we are holding support at the moment. Whereas every other rejection resulted in a lower low, the most recent one did not. So if these bulls can hold 115.15 and 113.70, it'll get my attention. Pretty much if BABA can go green tomorrow, it'll get my attention. Otherwise, the bears will keep their complete daily EMA 12 control. So that's where we stand, patiently waiting for trade setups to come to me. And if it takes until next week, that is A-okay. So establish those game plans. There's going to be a lot of bulls looking to buy a first hourly oversold. And we'll see how long it takes until daily consolidation shapes up. All right. Hope you had a good long holiday weekend. Don't forget to do good things. And we will see you tomorrow. Adventure Time, Chapter 11-7. We've got, where are we going? Curacanti National Recreation Area. And heading back, curling around from Telluride through Red Rocks back to Boulder, where I'm going to do the house sitting. So again, just more national public lands to check out. Hung out here all day and just swam and lounged around in the sun, and that was the day's task. As I hopped around, I got to the point where, I used to be able to drive from college to home. I would drive 14 hours, sometimes in a row, sometimes peeing while in cruise control. But I quickly burned myself out, and then I started to really only do 4 hours at a time. Anything more than 4 hours driving and I get pretty miserable. And so I would just hop and find little spots along the way. I pick a spot on a map, I know where my destination is, and then I just zoom in and look for green areas on the map and national parks and national forests where I can stop in between, sometimes out of the way, but usually not too bad, and some nice hikes along the way. More Curacanti, again, just a big open giant lake where you can hang out, camp, do whatever, boat. It's ours, it's public. We pay for it. Take advantage of it. So string cheese at Red Rocks was a great time. First time at that venue, heading back there in 2 months to see my buddy playing Papadosio. That'll be fun. I'll take some more pictures and footage there. But just a really unique venue in terms of being surrounded by the rocks, and obviously pretty iconic. And those are the rocks that are red. Baby chipmunk. So now getting back, and my task was to house sit for a month in Boulder and walk. This is Nina, and she is an Australian Shepherd. And man, if you have never seen Australian Shepherds, I'm sure there's a lot of work dogs that are up there in regards to it, but their drive is insane. And it's clear that they have been bred for thousands of years to just work, and that's all they want to do. And I have no doubt that, you could probably run this dog to death if you just threw a ball for 20 hours in a row. All she wanted to do was chase the ball. That's it. And she would do it for hours and hours on end. So it was nice to have a home base and be able to trade a little bit. I did some trading, be able to make food on a stove. That was nice. And just take care of the garden. She had a big old wall of peas and a bunch of raised beds that had been pretty developed. There's the backyard, a nice rainbow, great views. Pretty awesome backyard. There he is. So harvesting some cucumbers and beans and potatoes that were all grown in these little raised beds. You can see my matching pants. It's a funny story about those pants. I think I've already told it, but I'll save that for another time. Yeah, matching outfit. I don't know if you can tell, but I've been wearing the same outfit for 3 days in a row now. Whoever invented that you need to change clothes every day is a fool. I don't buy it. Some cool, they had what are these? Hot air balloons. They had a hot air balloon festival, so that was cool in the distance. I guess that's, I don't know what that is. If that looks too big to be a dove, maybe not. Anyways, raised beds, nice and established. That's all you need. The amount of food that you can grow in this right here is pretty remarkable. And you can definitely feed a family on that. So get some raised beds and grow some food. So I didn't do a whole lot aside from, explore Boulder, do some hikes in the area, check out the restaurants, and trade and take care of the dog. And then moved onwards, westwards to Utah, which had some great spots, and we'll head there next. See you then.